Welcome to MVP News, where we get real about football. And now to your hosts, Mike Pagano and Paul Helmers.
What's going on, guys? This is Mike Pagano. I'm with Paul Helmers. This is MVP News. It is Thursday night. We've got some Thursday night football to talk about. We've got game picks to go over. What's going on, Paul?
Hey, Mike. How's it going?
Oh, man, we just got to watch the GOAT. That's what we got to do, is watch him in a trash bummy.
I want to say, even though Thursday matchups this year have actually been pretty good, right? And even this week, even though it didn't end on top and it didn't start on top, in the middle there for a minute, this was a really good matchup.
Yes, for about 3 minutes and 33 seconds. We thought,
the
minute.
Colts brought it back to like a 7-point game. It was good. It was interesting. It was exciting. What we're seeing, is Andrew Luck going to pull it off?
Pump your brakes. Good. Pump your brakes. Let's not dive into the recap right away. I mean, we haven't.
I'm excited. I'm pumped right now.
I can tell. Well, we are back. This is MVP News, as I said in the intro. So it is Thursday night when you're listening to this. It's Friday morning. We're eager to get into this recap because, I mean, it's not really a great game, as Paul kind of alluded to. But, I mean, we just want to really get into it. We missed football. I don't know if you guys know this, but after we shoot the podcast on Tuesday night, I crave football. What about you, Paul? I crave it.
Oh, yeah. No, so the longest days of the week are Tuesday and Wednesday and Friday and Saturday. Not so much Saturday because at least I get college ball, right? But nothing beats the NFL. Nothing.
Yeah, college ball is like, this is probably a terrible analogy, but it's like, that heroin addict.
You're going down a dark path, Mike.
He has to settle with something else. See, I don't really know much down what that heroin addict would settle with, but what I'm saying is that NFL football is that good stuff. We need it in our life.
That sweet Lady H.
Exactly. I don't know where you learned that from, ladies and gentlemen. Now I know why Paul wanted me not to go down that dark path.
I'm from Dayton, Ohio. It's the heroin capital of the United States right now.
Is it really?
It is.
That's a shame. On our future podcast, the Opioid Epidemic of America podcast,
we're gonna dive in. I got some contacts back home we can talk to, man.
So let's go ahead and reel it back. Let's pull it back a little bit. We're a little excited. We're ready to go. And let's dive into Thursday Night Football before we talk about our game picks, before we talk about anything else football related. Now, Thursday night started with a matchup that used to be the talk of the town back in our younger years, growing up, football.
Yeah, just
legends.
A couple years ago.
I mean,
honestly,
the
just
rivalry
a few years
still.
Ago, yeah.
It did exist, but the glory years are
Oh yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong.
08.
It's not like it's really been that close of a rivalry. They showed today Tom Brady, I think, is 14-4 all time against the Colts.
Yeah, no, you're
so
right.
He owns them.
It was just the matchup that we looked forward to.
Right, it was Brady and Peyton, and then after Peyton, it was Brady Luck, and Luck was doing well, and the Colts were doing well, and then that kind of went away. So.
I'll be honest with you, before we even get into the game, now that you brought it up, because I used to feel this way even when I watched Peyton go out there. I cannot, and guys, if you agree with me, please comment. Let me know if I'm not the only one. I cannot stand the all-white Colts uniform. I'm talking all white, white hat, white shirt, white pants, white socks, white shoes.
Yeah.
When Peyton used to wear this, it looked like he was walking out on the field in long johns.
Plus he's so white himself too that it doesn't help. I mean, it looks like you could hardly see the difference between him and the jersey,
And he never has had a football shape. So in uniform, he looked clumsy. Yeah, some people look funny, and even Luck kind of has a weird shape to him. He doesn't have that athletic I'm gonna run it on you shape. But Manning was just the most uncomfortable to look at person in the uniform, even in the Broncos. But at least that color scheme was beautiful.
Right.
The
they
Broncos
at least
color
had
scheme
some
is a
dark
wonderful
blues and
color scheme.
Some orange outlines and stuff like that. It wasn't just a white shirt with royal blue numbers.
And I think that's a big problem. And when you pointed it out earlier when we were talking, it actually made me think because I was like, why is the Browns uniform so much more pleasing to the eye? It's the hat, but it's also the orange numbers is a bright contrast.
Well,
the blue
now it's
kind
the
of
orange.
like blends to it.
I was never, to be honest, I'm still not really a huge fan of their new jerseys. But even the old ones, the old jerseys they wore, they had brown numbers and the whites. And I think the contrast is what really makes it different.
It's a better contrast than blue. Blue just fades and it just looks like they're wearing long johns.
At least if it was dark blue, it'd be better. But they're not dark. They're like royal blue, you know?
Yeah, it's a weird blue. But that's what I wanted to say. If you guys agree with me, let me know. I've never been a fan. I like their blue tops with the white pants.
Who's got the best unis?
The best?
Well, okay, so
Man,
wait, actually, I guess
what?
we'll start out. Before that, are the Colts all whites? Are they the worst in the NFL?
Of modern uniforms?
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to be worse than those nasty Packers jerseys, right? But like...
Oh, I think I can watch the Packers uniform before I can watch the Colts uniform.
So even that nasty old one, what about the Steelers Bumblebees?
I like the Steelers Bumblebees.
I hate those ones, man. They're so dumb.
Only bring it out once in a blue moon, but as long as you don't overdo it, I like it. I like it because it has like a real rough, like, you have to be a rugged team when you wear those, though. You can't be a finesse team. Like, you can't be the Chiefs in that uniform. That's a I'm a smash your face in uniform, and I like that once in a while. Who has the best though? That's a really tough one. I don't know if I could pinpoint it. I'll tell you right now though, and I told you this on the last episode. I really like those the Saints white and golds.
Yeah,
obviously not the best. I could give you a top 5 off the top of my head. I love the Seattle home. I love the Eagles black. Don't ask me why. I just love the Eagles black. I like the Eagles home, honestly, no matter what. I'll take the Eagles green, too. I love...
the emerald.
Yeah. I love the Chiefs.
I was just about to say, honestly,
classic.
So the guys that have like the classic look that haven't changed in forever, right? The Chiefs, the Redskins, up until recently, the Browns. I really don't like the new Browns. I'm not a fan of the Redskins. The Redskins aren't great, but I'm just saying, like, I don't look at the Redskins and think, man, those are nasty. Those are bad. Like, they're decent jerseys. They're just classic. It's what they've always worn. You know, the Chiefs. It's
they're
what
not
they've always
bad.
worn.
I just don't like the color scheme. I'm not a fan of the maroon.
Yeah.
And then like the brownish gold thing
like
going on, and then the yellow.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a big fan of those color schemes. They don't really. There's no contrast in that. They all blend together.
What about the Niners? Niners have some classics.
I like the Niners in the sense of history. I'm not a fan of the
Right.
Niners in the sense of style. I think the Chiefs are really beautiful. Now that I'm like thinking about it, that red and white. I like the red top, white bottoms. I think that's a beautiful, like, that uniform. If you're a football fan, you see that. That's like football. Like, if I have to imagine the perfect Super Bowl, I want a Super Bowl that's also pleasing on my eyes.
So you can pick the team based on who looks the best.
I want I think my Super Bowl pick is a beautiful Super Bowl pick, as long as like they wear what I want them to wear. So who's home this year?
Oh, I have no idea. I guess we could look it up.
Last year the Eagles. Last year, what did the Eagles wear? The Eagles wore their aways. The Eagles wore their whites. Yeah, because Brady was wearing his. He
was wearing his blues.
His dark. I think so. I would hate to be wrong on this right now. Can I get the research department to check that out?
What was the Super Bowl? What was the Super Bowl number? We'll just say 2008.
And just Google Eagles Super Bowl. And then, the Eagles were home. They were wearing their dark greens.
So AFC's going to be...
Because the Patriots had their whites.
Here. Patriots were home. I think they just chose... Like, since they're going to be home, they just choose whichever jersey they're going to wear. But
it's like Madden. Okay. So who's
Patriots
home this
were
year?
technically the home team.
Okay, who's home this year? The NFC?
It would be the NFC's home, yeah.
Perfect. So
you picked the
Chiefs
Saints earlier.
On the road, and listen. The Saints at home and the Chiefs on the road. If I can get my way, I want the Saints to bring them color rushes out again, them gold and whites.
No one's going to play the
Really?
Super Bowl in the color rush. Come on.
Man, there were some beautiful uniforms, some gold and whites on one side and some red and whites. No, at home. I'm just joking, though. But this is a beautiful Super Bowl matchup. Think about it. The Saints in the all black.
What a shootout
gold
Super
helmets.
Bowl, by the way.
Yeah. Saints all black, gold uniforms. Gold helmets with the gold numbers, and on the other side of the ball, the bright red and
You think that
white.
they're not going to both wear home jerseys? One's going to wear white.
No. They'll wear the white with the red. It's bright. The bright red is still going to stand out. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, you're saying red pants?
Yes.
Oh,
So
I
you
gotcha.
got the all black with the white and red. Like, that's just a beautiful Super Bowl matchup.
Well, I'll be honest. So I like the Browns color rush way more than I like the regulars. With I don't know if you were looking at it when they were playing on that Thursday, but
I think I like them. The all brown. And
it's like all brown, and then they have
areas.
like the orange piping, basically kind of idea or whatever, right? I just think they're better than what they normally wear. And if the Browns were in the Super Bowl, that's what I would want them to wear also. But I mean, I'm getting ahead of myself.
I bet you could probably get into the team staff by the time they make it to a Super Bowl. I can see you working with the Browns by then. 2038,
in the next
2036.
in the next couple months? Yeah, I might be able to get in there.
Yeah. All right, so we definitely sidetracked a little. All in all, I think that the Colts uniform sucks. So I hope that was clearly stated. But hey, guys, let us know what your favorite uniform in the NFL is. I know I went on a sidetrack, but I think it's really, hey, we're fans of the game. We love the sport, but I think uniforms are important because, heck, there's uniforms out there that we hate. Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah.
I know the Jaguars are really like everybody's getting them all hyped because they like their defense
like
now.
every couple years, man.
Yeah, a couple years ago, let's not forget, everybody hated the Jaguars uniform.
Yeah.
Like, everybody despised they look good now, but everybody
they don't wear
hated
the double
them.
color helmets anymore, do they?
No, they're not stupid. Nobody liked that.
Yeah, because those were gross.
Yeah, this the whole thing. So let us know. I know that we're gonna get a couple powder blue Chargers in there, but shoot us a comment, a tweet, a DM, whatever. Let us know what you think the best uniforms in the NFL are. Now, back to what we were saying. The Colts headed out to New England to face off against the Patriots. What was going to be hopefully a shootout in our mind or some type of contest turned out to be a blowout. We see the Patriots going down, getting 2 touchdowns back to back pretty much. It took about 6 minutes to get the first touchdown, 3.5 minutes to get the next touchdown. Then the Colts respond with a field goal. Go ahead and get another touchdown for the Patriots. And then the Patriots then even cap it off with a field goal before the half. I think they went to the half, 24-3, right?
Yeah, 24-3.
Yeah, and then the second half, like Paul was mentioning earlier, those Colts came out back-to-back touchdowns, bringing it in 17-24. And at this point, you're saying, because prior to this point, you're saying in your mind, okay, this game's over. We might as well go ahead and shoot the podcast early. Let's go ahead and move on with our life.
Right.
But then they do this, and you're like, uh-oh. Are we gonna miss that comeback?
Yeah, then you can't turn it off. Like you can't. As a football fan, you are not allowed to turn it off at that point.
No, because you don't want to wake up in the morning and hear about that comeback.
Right. You're like,
and it's like, oh.
Like the 28-3 Super Bowl. Sorry, I had to get my jab at the Falcons in there.
No, that's exactly true. And I give my Falcon friends that information all the time. Now, after this 2 touchdowns, the Patriots went ahead and locked it up in the fourth quarter by scoring 2 more touchdowns. Bang, bang, bang. And then the Colts got 1 more touchdown in garbage time. Now, if you are holding Ebron in your fantasy, you had a game tonight.
I was just about to say, let's give it up for my man.
Someone has him on their fantasy. I'll tell you who's not happy about their fantasy. People that have Gronk.
Yeah.
They're not happy about their fantasy.
He's overrated.
What did Gronk have today? Was it 70 yards, 75?
70 yards, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad game. Don't get me wrong. Prior to the fantasy society that we're in, prior to the big blow up of fantasy, a 75-yard game is not bad for a receiver. A receiver didn't get 75 yards and go, wow, what a bad day. Or the fans didn't say that. But then the fantasy world blew up, and so many new fans came into the NFL that are just fantasy. There's people that play fantasy that don't even watch football. Like, what?
Right.
What are you doing? And I don't get it. But they see stuff like 75, no touchdown. You're kidding me. And then they do their little PPR leagues and everything. And they're like, he did that on only 2 catches. You got to give him the ball more. But so Gronk in my PPR league, yeah, he didn't do that great for me. He got me 13 points or something, but oh well. Gronk had a good game.
And in your other league, he only got you like 7.
Yeah, I mean.
And so look, okay, let's dive into this real quick. I was mentioning earlier how Rob Gronkowski, great player, outstanding, best tight end in the league, hands down, right? I'm not trying to dog on his actual play in real life, but his fantasy value is definitely overstated. Way overstated. People take this guy in the first and second round, and you can get Eric Ebron off the waiver wire later on in the season. He's he's like ranked 4th in tight ends right now. Or you got Zach Ertz, who's ranked like 5th in tight ends right now, who might have gone higher than, I mean, he might have been 4th, 5th, 6th rounds or so, but like the value on these guys is so much higher than, even if Gronk ends the season top of the line in tight ends, he's not going to have a huge gap behind the guy behind him. But he's drafted so much higher than most of the other guys. Other than like Kelsey, he's drafted so much higher than other people.
Well, see, I didn't draft Gronk.
Well, you kept him, so technically you drafted him in the 1st or 2nd round. I'll call it second because you also kept Antonio Brown, but
yeah, everybody used their keepers though, really. So it's like nobody really drafted in the 1st or 2nd round. Now, granted, yeah, if I didn't keep him, then I could have, went and grabbed somebody else.
Melvin Gordon.
But let me tell you something. No. Let me tell you something. Gronk has done me right over the last couple of years. Remember, I might not have won the last couple of years, but I was 2nd place, 3rd place, 2nd place, things like that. He's there for me. We've been growing hard for a couple of years, so I kept Gronk on my keepers as well as AB. And you know what? AB ain't giving me the best year either. AB's not performing every week.
I think that'll turn around.
We'll see. But we'll save that for the fantasy.
I get what you're saying. I kept Julio Jones and DeAndre Hopkins. I've done that for the past couple of years too, and they've been doing well too.
Yeah, that's a great combination right there.
And even though Julio only gets like 3 touchdowns a year these days, I mean, he's still putting up 17 to 20 points a game with his 170 yards. So
that's ridiculous. Matt Ryan needs to open up his eyes and do something.
Well, he hits Calvin Ridley for all these touchdowns now. Calvin Ridley's getting like 3 touchdowns a game these days.
Yep, Rookie of the Month for September, by the way, NFL's Rookie of the Month. Congratulations to Ridley. He had an excellent first month. Now, back to this game, though, Paul. Let me reel you back because I know you're excited. I know you want to just get into the fantasy.
I'm ready to go.
What did you see about this game that you felt when you were watching it?
Tom Brady was back to getting the ball out early.
Yeah.
He was quick to release. He's snapping the ball, instant throws, basically. That first touchdown he had, I think they showed he held the ball for maybe 0.6 seconds or something like that. He literally caught the ball and threw it right out to Patterson in for the 1-yard touchdown. Now, there are certain plays like that where you can throw the ball that fast, but he was doing that most of the game. That's what we know of Tom Brady. That's classic Tom Brady. And then the other side is on Tom Brady's 500 touchdown pass. Congrats to the man moving into 3rd place all time. He had 6-7 seconds to throw that pass.
Well, yeah, I mean, the guy has an incredible coach and scheme there, and his
no, that's not about the scheme.
Calling.
That's about the fact that the Colts defense for 6 to 7 seconds, couldn't get to Tom Brady, couldn't get around anybody, couldn't even push anyone to compress the pocket around him.
Whoa.
He was free to throw the ball. He was wide, like not even a soul in sight, and he threw the ball when someone started to move toward him. And it was like 6-7 seconds.
You're going also into that, but what I'm saying is a lot of what Brady does pre-snap, a lot of what Brady does with his scheming, everything also comes into play with how much time he gets. But no, you're absolutely right. That throw should have been picked. The defenders were like in front of Gordon,
yeah,
and Gordon like sees the ball up, sees that it's a jump ball. Jumps in front of the other guy. The other guy you can't see me if you're just listening, but he's all like, his hands are kind of like just there.
The guy behind him literally put his hands up in the air, like what happened?
They're not even trying to stop him. They don't even try to stop him.
You didn't defend the pass.
And it's pathetic.
Right.
It's sad.
That made me so mad. I love defensive football, and that's terrible. That's the worst defense I've watched this entire season so far.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this much.
I mean, on that one play.
They got some inflated stats today because they thought they were they got some picks. The thing about these picks are that they were both batted up balls by the offense, not being able to catch it, going in and out the receiver's hands. So it's going to look like Brady threw some picks, but they got some picks. That's really what kind of kept them in the game. Now, Luck, on the other hand, and I kind of want to get on to something else, so I'm not going to go too deep into this. But Luck's arm is just, and I know you've been saying it for weeks, it is not there. And I know he made some good throws tonight. But at the same time, if I disregard those good throws, there is a handful of bad throws. There was one in the back on the left side of the end zone that the guy was open and he throws it and it's short. And it's not like a ball that should be short. It was a short, is he okay? Then there was I
can't even touch that.
Then there was the pass of across his body to the other side of the field where Ebron's at. Now, I know that across your body, it's 53 in the third, right? From sideline to sideline. We're looking at, that's not an easy pass, but Luck can make that normally. 90% of QBs can make that. He turned across his body, and luckily Ebron was able to get real low and scoop it and kind of like catch it above the ground. Now, here's the thing. This is a touchdown if it's a properly thrown ball. Ebron's wide open. There's no one on him. The cornerback it is nowhere to be. The safety's nowhere to be. Like, there's nobody. Completely blown coverage in that area of the field. If he gets enough distance on that throw to where he can catch that and keep moving in some type of stride or not do what he had to do, he's gone. But he had to stop, come back, get low, and, like, reach for it. And that's because Luck cannot get the ball there with his arm. There's definitely an effect from what's all happened to his arm.
Well, I just hope that it's just a strengthening process that he's behind right now, that he's just still trying to build it back up to where it was before. That's what I hope. I loved watching Andrew Luck play tonight. Not so much, but in the past, I liked watching him play. And this year, like you said, like I've been saying, his arm just isn't back. It's not back yet. And I hope that yet is the key term, but we don't know yet.
Well, I'll tell you right now, the arm is there because of injuries, right?
Right.
But the QB position is protected nowadays. The QB position is being protected a lot more, so we don't have to worry about Luck getting hurt again.
Or do we?
But do we? Now, I don't know about you guys, and I'm the one who was fighting against this rule. I went toe-to-toe with Paul a couple weeks ago, saying that the rule's BS, whatever, as far as how they're calling it. But tonight,
but rules are rules.
They just ignored the rule.
Oh, yeah.
Here's what I mean. And I can post this. I've already posted it on our Facebook, our Twitter. It's out there. You saw it if you watched it. But Luck takes the snap. He goes back. Two defenders come through. Both defenders smack the life out of him. And both drive him into the dirt. Both land on top of him full body weight. It looks like it hurts. Now, if there's any QB in the league more fragile than Aaron Rodgers, I would pick Luck. Like, the guy got hit so hard last year. Last year, he got hit so hard that, like, his spleen opened. Do you remember that?
Yeah, lacerated kidneys or something like that.
Yeah, come on, the guy's been through, and you're going to let him get... So when they don't throw the flag on that, my mind is blown. I'm texting people. I'm tweeting people. Literally, like, a drive later, a defender gets through the line. Because let me set this up. In my mind, all right, maybe this is how they're calling the game. They're being lenient. Because we all know how refs are. They're either lenient or they're tight, but they call the whole game that way, and they'll set a standard. So in my mind, okay, maybe they're just, maybe they're letting things go.
Yeah, and they had that conference call between the competition committee, right?
Yeah.
Last week before, and maybe it's like they're implementing minor changes in it.
And then this is what bothers me. And then a Colt comes through the D line, and he misses Brady, and he goes to block the pass, and his hand comes down, and it just taps Brady's helmet.
I mean, it did more than tap it, if we're being honest here. He kind of smacked him pretty hard in the head, but
he open hand smacked Brady's head, but Brady's head did not move.
Yeah, it did. His helmet pressed down.
I didn't see. Well, we can debate that in another time. But all right, I didn't see Brady's head really move that much. But let's just say he did. He got turtle. Turtle. I'm not gonna use the other word, but we used to call it turtle something where you hit someone in the helmet. You just used your own helmet, but whatever. Turtle bumped. That's what I'll say he got. He got turtle bumped with someone's hand. Andrew Luck got pancaked.
I mean, it's definitely not fair to compare the two penalties, right? One absolutely should have been a penalty. One is like, I mean, I guess maybe that's like a point of emphasis.
That's the thing. If you're going to call a penalty on that and then you're going to let Luck get pancaked.
And more than once. It happened more than once. I didn't see it real time, but they were going through some drive replays right before halftime, and they showed another play where he got landed on, like later in the game. And I'm like, that's twice.
A shame. And that's my question. Are you guys going to call it consistently? Are you guys going to stick to it and do what you're saying, or are you going to be iffy about it? And I don't want to be the guy that says it. I know that people are saying it right now on Twitter. I've been on there. I don't like saying it. But don't make the mistakes when the Patriots are playing. It's the worst time for referees to make mistakes, because you know those conspiracy theorists just can't wait to come out of the woodwork and talk about Kraft and his ways.
It's roughing the passer gate, or whatever they're going to call it now.
Yeah.
dropping the weight gate. That's what it's going to get called.
Oh, man. Now, speaking of dropping the weight, a lot of teams need to drop some weight and get their season together. And it's time for game picks here at MVP News.
Oh, yeah.
So here, as you know, if this is your first time, let me explain it to you. I don't know what Paul's going to pick. Paul doesn't know what I'm going to pick. It's as simple as that. We go at it. We're going to talk about the games. Some games we will stick on. Some games we won't. Now, right now, Paul, I don't know if you can look it up, but I looked at my score on NFL Pick'em. I went to leaderboard. I'm 36 of 26. So I'm over 500. I'm happy about that. I'm not happy about the 26, obviously. I could do a lot better. I've made some mistakes. But I'm 36 of 26. What are you?
I'm 30 and 29 right now. But in my defense, a couple of these are Thursday night games that I forgot to go in and pick. Like last week, I picked the Rams to win, but I forgot to go in and do it.
That's not a defense. Did you lose?
No, I'm wrong. I'm saying I was right if I went in and put my pick in.
If they would have tied, you would have got the points.
But they didn't tie. I didn't.
All right.
So I was picking the Rams. I said it on the show that I'm picking the Rams to beat the Vikings. Rams did beat the Vikings. I forgot to put my pick in. So there's a couple like that. I think two of the Thursdays. But either way,
guess what? There's games where refs ruin games. There's games where people get hurt.
Regardless, I think you're still ahead of me regardless, but only by like 2-3 games. 4 games, maybe.
All right, well, let's keep going then. So first up, in the long list of games that we have, we've got the Buffalo Bills hosting somebody's sleeping favorite team, the Tennessee Titans. Paul, I'll let you go ahead and start this one off.
All right, I'm locking in the Titans. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna waste your time with that. The Titans are gonna win this game. They're a defensive, gritty team, right? The Bills are not. The Bills don't have the talent to keep up. Titans are gonna win this game.
Okay, I like your confidence. I almost did pick the Bills. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Why?
I almost picked the Bills because I think that they're sneaky, talented. I think that they're capable of doing something.
They just put up a goose egg.
No. I'm not saying that.
They put up 7 at the end, right?
I don't think that they're gonna win games this year. I think they have little bits of talent here and there, and they can sneak up and do something, just like they did on the Vikings. And I think the Titans, even though they're really hot right now, they've had some things that have been going on with them in the past. I don't know. I almost picked them, but I picked the Titans because I trust Vrabel. I trust this team to really fight it through and get it done. I did pick them. Real quick side note. I've got a NFL Network or NFL.com open while we're doing this, and there's a picture of Jimmy G to the side with his hat on, and it's just so sad because it's like, poor fella. Oh man. But the next game we got is the Giants headed over to Carolina. This is a pretty simple one. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I picked the Panthers. I don't know if you're going to pick anything different than that. Do you want to give any sense on that, or do you disagree?
I'm going with the Panthers. I think the Panthers are better at, well, I say they're equal at running back and they're worse at receiver, but the Panthers are better at pretty much every other position on the field.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants might look good on paper, but let's remember, we've said it before, the Giants are not clicking. They're not a cohesive bunch. The Panthers are. So even though statistically or on paper, yeah, they have better assets at running back or at wide receiver over there for the Giants, the Panthers are playing together in a much better way, and I think the Panthers handle the Giants without a doubt. So we're moving quick, as you could tell, because there's some games where I feel like we're gonna give it a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't think these first two really merit much discussion.
Let's go ahead and get into this next one. I don't know if this one really has much of a discussion. We've got the Miami Dolphins headed over to battle it out with the Bengals. What you got?
I picked the Bengals, and I think this is a better game than you're really giving it credit. Both teams are 3-1, and both teams are kind of caught in that stage of like, we really don't know how they're going to end up. Are they going to end up doing pretty good? Like, is 3-1 what we can expect out of them? Or are we looking at fluky 3-1, right? I think both teams are in that spot. The Bengals showed a real stinker against the Panthers. But they also showed up really well last week, right? I mean, they won in that gutsy ending and the 7 seconds left on the clock, and they throw that touchdown to AJ Green to win the game. So I think it's a good game. I'm picking the Bengals. Gio Bernard's out, which I don't know that it really hurts them that much because Joe Mixon should be back. And I think the Dolphins got their bubble burst. I think they were with that fluky 3-0 team, and I think that it's after that loss to the Patriots last week, that's kind of reality striking.
Okay, so let me explain to you why I don't think this game's really that important to me. So offensively, the Dolphins are 30th. Defensively, they're 26th.
Are they really?
Passing, they're the 28th. Rushing, they're 26th. I
would have
believe,
never guessed that.
Yeah, I believe that because of the fact that the Bengals are 12th passing, their offense is 16th. Yeah, their defense is 29th, so they're just as bad on defense. Well, then that tells me, okay, so which one is going to win in that shootout? Now, granted, I don't believe Andy Dalton's that great or anything, but I do trust him with AJ Green and that team to be a little bit better than the Dolphins' offense. Actually, I trust them a lot better. And I just don't think that it's going to come. I don't think it's going to be a defensive matchup. I think it's going to be more of I don't want to call it a shootout because I don't see Tannehill putting up numbers. But I think it's going to come down to the offenses. I think that Dalton's going to win this game, and I think that they can win it comfortably. It's not going to be a blowout. It's not going to be anything like crazy, but I think comfortably the Bengals can win this game. I'm definitely picking them. So this next game, I'll tell you right now, I vowed to never, ever, ever, ever pick the Browns again because they did me dirty against the Raiders. So this next game,
ever again, or only in like upsets?
No, never again until like they make me feel better about it or something. So, that's
like really rude. I don't even know if I want to talk to you right now.
The way they performed against the Raiders made me really upset.
Let's not bring that.
So let's set it up. The Browns are playing the Ravens. The Ravens are going to the Browns. I'm gonna tell you this right now. If the Browns would have played the Raiders the way I thought they were going to play the Raiders, this might have been my upset of the week because it's at home for Cleveland. It's a division rivalry, and they play each other hard every time. And I like that Browns defense, and I like the Browns team, and I like Baker. But last week, we got a stinker. We didn't get a Baker. We got a stinker. We got 4 turnovers. We got a defense that gave up 40-something points. We got a team that couldn't stop the rush. We've got a team that just wasn't playing together. I mean, granted, the Browns are second in the league in rushing. They can run that rock. But they're 25th in the league in defense. That's not the defense I know them to be. It's not. So I've got the Ravens picked until further notice. I've got any team playing the Browns picked until they get their heads out of their butts. But I have a future hope for you guys. Your turn.
So when I first looked at this game, when I'm first coming in, number one, the problem is I'm still sour over Sunday. Okay. It still hurts. The Browns really let me down that week. But I can't sit here as an orange and brown bleeding human being and allow myself to pick the Ravens to beat the Browns at home. So I'm going with the Brownies. We're going to expose that Ravens defense that's supposed to be so good right now. Which, by the way, we talked a little bit about inflated defenses last week or earlier this week. We spoke on the Rams being inflated. Well, the Ravens are inflated too. They got to play the Bills in week 1, who only put up 3 points. And not just did they play the Bills, they played the Nathan Peterman-led Bills. So the Ravens defense is a little overrated. The Browns are going to come in. They're going to move the ball. It's going to be it'll be a close game. It's going to be low scoring probably. We're probably looking, I would say tops, the winning team has 23.
It's going to be a 9-6 game right here.
But the Browns defense, hey, we're not giving up the deep pass like the Steelers were doing all night. We're not doing that.
No, you're just going to give up 436 yards to Collins.
Nah. Speaking of Collins, Jamie Collins is going to light Alex Collins up. He's going to send him into last week, and then they're going to have to play Buck Allen instead, and you're going to get no fantasy points, and the Ravens are still going to lose.
All right. It sounds good. Now, speaking of...
that was my impassioned speech about my Browns.
Yeah, speaking of losers, I can't wait to see you in fantasy. I don't know what week we see you. So the next game we've got, another good one. It's another good one. Why? Not because I think one of the teams are good. I've been giving them crap all year, and they deserve it.
Yeah, they do.
But I think this is a good one because of what it is, where it is, and who it is together. And that's the Detroit Lions facing off, defending their home against the Green Bay Packers. Now, I think this is a fascinating matchup because even though the Lions are 1-3, the Packers are 2-1-1. Throw all that away. Put it in your trash can. Get rid of it. It's irrelevant right now. We've got a Lions team that has a new coach and a new culture, and it's just a new identity, it feels like. They do feel different. And then you've got a Green Bay Packers that's kind of fading. Like, to me, Aaron just isn't happy looking there. He's just not playing well there. There's just, I think this is the chance for the Lions to smack them up a little bit. Because I don't think the Lions have smacked them up in a while. Let me look. It looks like in December 31st, the Lions beat them the last 2 times they played. There must have been a backup quarterback playing.
Not the last 2 times they played.
Yeah, I've got December 31st, 2017, the Lions winning 35-11. I've got November 6th, 2017.
Oh, no, you're right. My bad.
Oh, they played 3 times last year.
January 1st was technically from the 2016 season. That's where I was confused.
Oh, I'm looking.
But also, let's not forget, the Lions smacked up the Packers twice last year. Who was playing quarterback?
That's what I was going to say. I bet it was Kaiser last year.
It was Brent Hundley.
Oh, is it Hundley?
Hundley.
Yeah, Hundley.
Kaiser played for Cleveland last year.
Yeah, so not really that big thing. Now, here's the thing that's killing me. The stats for the Lions look crazy. Offense is 11th. Defense is 8th. Passing is 10th.
What?
Rushing is 20th. Yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm looking at it, man, and the
defense is 8th?
Yeah, but you got to understand, they shut down the Patriots. They, who the else they beat?
They are. I mean, they're 8th in yards. What about scoring?
Oh, well, I'm looking at a different statistical analysis here. I ain't got the same research people as you over there in Arizona.
Yeah, my guys are better.
Yeah. So
let's get that out of the way.
But all in all, I think that the Lions are gonna win this game, and they're gonna kind of take this ownership from them and let them know, hey, even with AR on your team, even with AR playing, this is our division. Now, it's not their division when it comes to the Bears, but one-on-one, this is our matchup.
What about the Vikings?
Not relevant to this matchup. But I think the Bears are going to give the Vikings a run because the Vikings look kind of trashy.
No, I don't think they'll look trashy.
We'll go down that road a different time. Go ahead. I got the Lions.
Oh, you're done now. You got Lions. Okay, I'm picking the Packers because Aaron Rodgers owns the Lions. he owns them. They should call him daddy. They have a really tough time beating Aaron Rodgers. I don't know how many times they've even beat him. I'd have to look it up, and I feel like it's going to take me a little bit of time if I was going to do that. Time that I don't have at the moment. So Aaron Rodgers owns the Lions. I don't care if they're playing in Detroit. I don't care if they're playing in Green Bay. The Packers are going to come in when the Lions are in must-win territory.
Can I have 2 lockups this week?
I mean, you've taken 2 lockups before. I just feel like...
Because I'll lock this up.
Are you following the rules? Like, do you have rules to follow? Do we have lockup rules? I mean, we're not around the NFL, so, I mean, we can really do it however we want to, right?
Yeah, but we kind of own this. We're not working for anybody, so I'm locking this up. Just to let you know, because I didn't like how you're talking over there, like, oh, Aaron Rodgers is going to own them. Aaron Rodgers is a baby back, and then the word rhymes with other things. I'm not even going to go there. But let me tell you this right now.
Aaron Rodgers, I'm not saying it's going to be like a domination victory, but I'm saying that, like, Aaron Rodgers just doesn't lose to the Vikings.
I'm locking it up.
Or I'm sorry, to the Lions.
I'm locking it up.
You lock it up all you want. You do that, sir.
You done?
So what? So I got a question. Are we even keeping track of these lockups?
Yeah, I will make fun of you when you're wrrong.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, I mean, you can always go back and listen.
Like we don't have like a. I guess we might have to go back and listen because I think like the loser of the lockup should like do something. Not necessarily every week, but if you lose a lot, like more lockups.
All right, listeners, comment. Let us know what should be done to the people that fail with lockups and toss them around freely, not knowing what to do with them and whatnot. So just so you know, 82% of people agree with you on the Packers, by the way. So 82% of the people that picked the Packers.
Hey,
so the next
picking
game,
the upset, I can respect that. I don't respect you, but I can respect that.
The next game, and we got to speed this up because I know you're running out of time, is the Chiefs and the Jaguars. So let's go ahead and move into this quickly. I know that this is not a time you want to be quick, but I know that time limits are tight. I've got the Chiefs on this one. I think that the offense will outscore. I trust Mahomes in that offense more than I trust Bortles in that offense. So even though the defense is incredible, I don't care. I'm going to have to pick the Chiefs all day.
No, I agree. I picked the Chiefs too. This one gave me a little bit of a trouble. I couldn't figure out who I really wanted to go with. Am I betting on the Jaguars defense to slow down this electric offense? Or am I betting on Pat Mahomes to do what he's been doing? And I think what really pushed it over the edge for me was when Jalen Ramsey started to open his mouth again, because that's to me what says like you're popping off too much, man. You got too big of a head right now. That's it. And against Tyreek Hill, who's like didn't even say anything negative. He said Jalen Ramsey's one of the best. He said he is the best in the league. And he's like, oh well. He's not even a receiver. He's a return specialist. He looks like a receiver this year.
Here's the thing. I know you should. I knew you were going to pick the Chiefs because if you're going to be true to your picks, you put the Chiefs in your top 2.
Right.
So like you technically now, unless you bump them out of your top 2, you can't pick anybody.
Well, that's not true.
Chiefs. That's how that works. If they're the number 2 team in the NFL,
just because I think they're the second best in the league right now doesn't mean that they can't lose a game on a matchup.
I guess that's a true statement. Let's go ahead and get into the next one. The next game we have is the Broncos facing off against the Jets. This one is in New York at MetLife Stadium. Pretty simple matchup here. I've got the Broncos pretty much all day. I don't think Sam Darnold is going to... I think week 1 was a different Sam Darnold. I think the hype is gone. Young kids learning. Young teams coming together. They didn't get Lev Bell in the trade, so they still don't have a rush. They don't have really much of an offense. I got the Broncos.
I also have the Broncos. I think, like you said, Sam Darnold, it's not that he's different than week 1. It's that his defense isn't going to give him 4 turnovers again. You know, it's not going to work that way. And the Broncos have a pretty good defense. Sam Darnold is struggling against decent defenses this year. That's just a fact. And not to say that he shouldn't struggle, right? I mean, he's 21 years old. He's a rookie. I'm not dogging him as a career yet. I'm just saying this season so far, he's struggled against good defenses. Broncos are a pretty good defense. That's what I think it boils down to.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and roll into this next game. We've got the Atlanta Falcons headed over to Pittsburgh to battle out with them Pittsburgh Steelers minus Lev Bell because he is not coming back till week 7 or week 8, I think. So
week 7, they're in a bye.
Week 7. So this matchup right here, Pittsburgh's home. Many people probably think, okay, easy pick. No. I've got the Falcons in this one. Now I know that the Falcons are only 1-3, but guess what? The Pittsburgh Steelers are only 1-2-1. They're both having bad starts to their season. What I've seen from the Falcons, though, gives me much more assurance than what I've seen from the Steelers. I believe the Falcons' offense is stronger than what the Steelers is right now. Right now, without Lev Bell, without everything clicking, without a run game. We got Freeman coming back. Coleman's still there. Ridley looking good. Julio looking good. I got the Falcons.
I picked the Steelers on this one. I've picked the Falcons too many times so far this year for them to let me down. And I think these injuries that they have on their defense is really getting to them. But, this should be a really good matchup and a really good game. Both teams must win territory. Where if they want to turn their seasons around, now is the time to start before you start to lose too much footing in your 100%. Division.
Yeah.
Oh, we got the Ravens and the Bengals both at 3-1. If the Steelers lose this week and even just one of them wins this week, you're falling behind and you're looking at losing your playoff spot.
That's a big lead and you don't want to give that up.
And same thing with the Falcons too. The Falcons are at 1-3, and they got to go against the Saints who are 3-1, and they got to go against the Panthers who are 2-1. And I don't know.
And I think the Panthers are winning this week.
Oh yeah, me too. And it's must-win territory. Both teams have to win, so I think this is going to be a really good game.
Yeah. So the next game is the Oakland Raiders headed off to the I almost said San Diego, the LA Chargers in a AFC West matchup. I got the Chargers on this. I think the Chargers are a much better team. I think the Chargers will outscore the Raiders' high-powered offense, and I think that the Chargers will definitely win this game. Honestly, when I was looking at this game, and I know that we're in hurry-up mode, that's why we're not supposed to be talking about stuff, but when I was looking at this game, I was worried about the defense of the Chargers because, let's be honest, the Raiders do have I think they're number 2 in offense right now. They're number 2 in offense, but
they're coming along.
The defense of the Raiders is 27th, and no matter what, you still got Phillip Rivers on that other side of the ball. So I just believe, with Melvin Gordon, I just believe that the Chargers will outscore the Raiders, and I don't think that they're going to get everything together this week. I think next week they're going to start getting things together, but right now the Raiders are not there.
This game, I feel like, gave me more trouble than it gave you. Even though this is a home game for the Chargers, this is going to be a home game for the Raiders. LA is not Charger country, it's Raiders. It's Raider country. That's where Raider Nation's at, man. So the stands are going to be filled with black and silver. It's going to be loud. I still have the Chargers picked. I think the Chargers are the better team at the moment. I heard they were practicing this week too with some enemy territory crowd noise. I think they know what they're getting themselves into. They know how it's going to be. Phillip Rivers is awesome. I think the Chargers got it.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and roll into this next one. It is the Vikings headed over to see the Eagles for a rematch of what we saw in the
NFC Championship.
Yeah, sorry. My brain was leaving me for a moment. So we had the Vikings that had the miracle in Minnesota. They won the game with some blown covers. They went to the NFC Championship game, and then they got destroyed by Nick Foles and this Eagles offense and that defense. So Vikings are headed to Philly. Again, they're going to see those Philadelphia Eagles, and they're confident. They are cocky. They are ready to go. And I've got the Eagles picked on this one, because I have not seen any cockiness. I have not seen any confidence in them. Honestly, though, I'm going to tell you this, Paul, and I know I got to be quick, but I think that this game is actually going to be the game where we're going to see the Vikings defense actually stir up a little bit and be what we wanted it to be, because the emotions are in there. But I think the emotions are actually going to be too strong. They're going to actually cause them to blow this game on offense. I think the emotions are going to be too far in this. It's going to be a heated game, and we're going to see Wentz do what he would have did in the NFC Championship game, but Wentz wasn't there, and Wentz is going to carry the Eagles to a win. Fly, Eagles, fly.
You're not supposed to sing that. You're not supposed to sing anything. Anyway, I love that you picked the Eagles, because I love disagreeing with you. I love proving you wrong. I think the Vikings are better than what you're saying they are. They put up 31 points on the Rams last week.
Because the Rams defense is not good.
That's not what we agreed on. You said they're good, but their stats are a little inflated right now, which is true.
That's what I meant. I don't mean they're not good, but what I'm saying is, they're not like incredible to where you're like, oh, they put up 31 points on them. I mean, putting up 31 points in the NFL is good no matter what. I got you, but they're not going to do that against the Eagles.
This is a good team. The Vikings are not getting the credit they deserve. They're going to come into Philly, and they're going to slap them around. The Eagles are the favorites. I'm taking the underdog. I'm going to lock this in. This is my lock of the week, right?
Wow.
So the Eagles are really good on run defense. They're not really that great on pass defense.
All right. Let's go ahead and roll right into the next one. We're running out of time here. We've got the Arizona Cardinals headed to San Fran. I've got my upset of the week right here. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. My upset of the week right here. I've got the Arizona Cardinals winning this game against Beathard and this offense. Even though they have a great run attack, I do not believe that they're ready for what Rosen is about to come bring them. I saw them stick it in there with Seattle. I saw them give it to Seattle and try and stay in there and win. I saw Rosen throw some amazing passes that were tight in the needle, through the keyhole, tiny passes. Guy's got good footwork. He's got a nice little arm. I like this Rosen kid. I'm going to say it right now. This is the upset of the week. I know it's not a big upset because it's like, what, the 49ers aren't that good? But here's the thing. Nobody thinks the Cardinals are going to win a game for a while. I mean, they're just really bad, right? No, they're going to win this game. They're going to surprise people. I got the Cardinals.
I picked the 49ers. 49ers are at home. Even without Jimmy Garoppolo, they looked good last week. They didn't get the win, but they looked good. They were at home. The Cardinals are bad. They're really bad. I just got no faith in them. This is going to be Niners. Kyle Shanahan is going to light up their defense.
And that's why I love being on a show with someone that's not as good as me. Because they won't make the same picks as me. They're going to pick stupid picks. And I'm going to be able to destroy them.
Not as good as you. That's what it is.
All right, so let's go ahead and get on to this.
See, on games that we've disagreed on, I want to see our record in those games. That's what I don't really care about the locks. I care about when me and you disagree. Who comes out on top?
Oh, I was right about the Seahawks Cowboys. So let's roll into this next one.
So one game.
Yeah. So Sunday, I got so excited. We got the LA Rams headed over to the worst nightmare, the Seattle Seahawks. Now, earlier, Paul gave you this long soliloquy, or however you say the word, giving you an explanation of how he can never pick against his Baltimore Ravens. I mean, not his. That's so disrespectful.
I will fight you.
His Cleveland Browns. And, I mean, they're pretty much the same team, though, Paul, because the Browns became the Ravens. So when I say the Ravens, it's technically the Browns.
It's different.
So
the Ravens were a new franchise. They folded the Browns and opened a new franchise in Baltimore. They're not the Browns.
I know, because they won Super Bowls. So the Seahawks are in this game. Sorry, my brain went so. I feel so bad. I'm sorry, Paul. So I've got the Seahawks, and here's why. Yes, I'm a homer. I am. I've picked against Seattle once in my career, but I can't pick against them against certain games. Why? Because I just can't. I saw Seattle play the last 2 weeks. I've seen Seattle play the last 4 weeks. So I know the bad games. I know the good games. Right now they're 2-0, coming off the last 2 games. They finished the quarter out at 2-2. They're happy with that. Here's a stat I really liked. When looking at the Rams defense, when facing against a blitz, when blitzing quarterbacks.
That's that next-gen crap you pull.
Yes, next-gen stats. When the Rams are blitzing, and they blitz about 30% of the time, we'll say, opposing quarterbacks are 28 for 42 for 334 yards this season with 1 touchdown and 98.7%. When we blitz, quarterbacks have 1 interception, less than 200 yards, and their completion percentage is like 35%, 40%. What I'm saying is I've been watching us this season, and we're not that bad looking. And they're coming up to the clink where I know that we're going to be 7-1. we will finish at least 7-1 in the clink. That's just how that operates. And I see a Rams defense that's giving up points, and Russell has a little bit of a run game. He's starting up there. He's got Tyler Lockett. He's got Doug Baldwin on his second week. He's got Brandon Marshall. He's got a young little talent there in his new guys. I believe Seattle wins this game in a shootout because of the crowd noise and a turnover. And this is my second lock. I'm locking it up.
Oh, man. Like, you gave such a good speech, but you're just wrong on every level. So you're talking about the Seahawks defense being so great when they blitz people and they're stopping quarterbacks. And yeah, when they had the best defensive player in the league so far this year, yeah, they could do that. But Earl Thomas is hurt. Earl Thomas ain't playing anymore. He's done for the season.
Hey, just want to let you know, according to NFL.com, the Rams have the 9th defense in the NFL. Seattle has the 7th.
And they lost their best defensive player.
No, I'm sorry. Bobby Wagner's still there.
Okay, let me bring this up. Actually, this week, you brought up Pro Football Focus said, according to their numbers, Earl Thomas was the best defender in the league up to this point, including all defenders, not just the best safety, including all defenders. Tell me something. Does Bobby Wagner fall under all defenders?
So guys, don't let Paul distract you from where we're going.
Oh, so he did.
No, listen.
So he does fall under all
saying.
defender. Listen to him try and deflect.
No.
Look at this. Look at this man. Listen to this guy. Are you running for president?
No, listen to me.
You running for president right now?
You want to cut me off, but Earl Thomas ranked as the top defender in the NFL for the first 4 weeks based on his performance of the first 4 weeks. When we say who's the leader of this defense, we're speaking of a person, the general, the boss. That's the middle linebacker. That's Bobby Wagner, who's the best linebacker in football. He might not have led the NFL in Pro Football Focus's, ratings, but he's still the leader of that defense.
So, okay, the last time that Earl Thomas didn't play against the Rams were garbage, and they took it to you. Bobby Wagner still played that game. That's because Earl Thomas is the leader of your defense, not Bobby Wagner. Earl Thomas runs the show up there.
Last time Bobby Wagner missed games, we were terrible. I'm just saying.
Yeah, last time Earl Thomas missed games, you were terrible also.
Well, yeah, but we got Tedrick Thompson. I'm not really that worried about it.
Hey, did you guys make the playoffs last year?
This is a pick show, Paul. This isn't a playoff bashing show.
Okay, let's just move forward here. The Rams are going to win it because Jared Goff, who's having the season of his lifetime right now and has all these offensive weapons, is going to light your secondary on fire. They're not going to know where the ball's coming. They're not going to know where the receivers are. They're not going to go, what's going on? And then right when they get that part of it, then they're going to jam Todd Gurley down your throat, and you have no answer for him.
There's going to be at least 2 turnovers in this game committed by the Rams, 1 fumble, 1 interception.
No. So I would agree with you, except Earl Thomas, who was leading the league in interceptions, who was like your guy, your free safety, your deep middle guy. He's not playing.
Yeah, but he's not the only person who is.
And the guy that is playing, his name is Tedrick, not Cedric.
That's really rude. Paul, Earl's not the only person that gets interceptions on our team.
Oh, who else has them?
Know. What was that?
So, who else has them?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you say it again.
Who else
What?
has them?
Huh? You're breaking up. Guys, Paul's breaking up, so we're going to go ahead and go on to the next portion of the...
you don't have an answer. The Rams defense is going to be up in Russell's face constantly, not because they're blitzing, because they don't have to blitz.
Right.
Their defensive line is good enough. They're going to take it to you.
I was trying to buy time for my stats. So Earl Thomas had 3.
Shaquille Griffin's got 2, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so you had the stats and you was talking trash. Guess what? Bradley McDougall has 2 as well. So that's 4 in those 2 guys. You ready to eat your words?
That's 1 more than Earl had by himself.
Oh, my goodness.
Because I'm right.
No.
And the Rams are going to win.
Earl had 3.
Hey, I'm just saying, don't come crying to daddy when the Rams win, okay?
The only daddy here is me. The only daddy here is me.
Oh.
And let's make a bet.
I remember your glue. Whatever you
let's make a bet.
Thanks to you.
All right. For the fans hearing it, we're going to end it soon. Let's make a bet. If Seattle wins, and dude, let me look at it says the people, 8% of people, 9% of the people picked the Seahawks. So not even all Seahawks fans are picking the Seahawks. 9%. I'll make a
I don't
bet.
know. That pretty much describes the Seahawks fan base.
If the Seahawks win, you will come on air Sunday night and you will say, and I'll give you the words right now, Daddy, I'm sorry, and I'll never do it again. If you win, I will admit that you are the boss. You are the king. You know everything.
You see what you're trying to do here? You're trying to get me to agree to potentially disrespect my own father by calling you my dad. I ain't gonna do that.
I'll change the statement.
Man.
I'll change the statement to save that. You can all you have to do is say this. Stepdaddy?
Yeah. Now you're trying to tell me to disrespect my mom.
Oh my adopted father? I don't. All right, let's go ahead and get on to the next game. So the next game, we've got the Dallas Cowboys headed over to the Houston Texans. Two teams in Texas battling to be the number one Texas team. Let's make it quick. Let's make it cut and dry. I've got the Texans winning this. Hopkins is a beast. Fuller is a beast. I think that they're going to pull this out, and I think that with J.J. Watt out there on the line, and he's actually having a good little start here. He's actually the AFC Defensive Player of the month. I believe that they keep Zeke contaminated. That's not good. Contained, and they keep him from bursting, and we know Dak's not going to do it on his own. Houston wins this game.
I agree with you. I think we're back to agreement for these last two games. I'm taking the Texans because I feel like we were just talking about J.J. Watt. We haven't really seen much from him, but he's second in the league in sacks with 5 this year. So I think I was wrong.
We just got done saying that.
But I'm saying like it
proves he listens to our podcast. That's the thing.
Say what?
He listens to the MVP News podcast, that means.
Oh, J.J. Watt does?
Yeah, because, he got angry.
Oh, yeah. We were saying, JJ, we don't know nothing about you this year. And he's like, oh, I'll show you. I'll tell you guys, Mike and Paul.
That's exactly what it was, Mike and Paul. No, Mike comes first. You had it right. Continue. You got the Texans. All right. So the final game, quick game. You've got to go. Paul's got to be somewhere. He's got to go get his back blown. The Redskins versus the Saints. That's right. The Redskins are headed to the Saints. We've got the New Orleans Saints winning again, beating the Redskins, and there's nothing really to say about that.
I agree. I'm going with the Saints. Their offense is better, even though the Redskins' defense does look pretty good this year. And I do think the Redskins will move the ball offensively. Eventually, it's not going to be enough. I'm gonna give them like 4 points. I don't know if 33 is too much. Or 36, I think, is too much. I'm going to say like 32-28. Saints win.
Very well. I see you thinking Alex Smith is going to have a very blessed game.
It's
and
mostly
stay up
the
there.
Saints defense. They just don't stop people
this
this year.
That is a true statement.
And Alex Smith is having a pretty good year so far. It's nothing great, but he's having a pretty good year.
Very well. All right, so that concludes the picks right there. We've got all the games for Sunday figured out. We know exactly who's winning. We've stated it. We've made our case. Let's find out Sunday night who's right, who's wrong. Was it Mike? Was it Paul? Who's going to have to say sorry to the other one? Who's going to have to eat their words? I believe it'll be Paul. He believes it's going to be me. This is MVP News. You guys have a great night.
MVP News is brought to you by Infinity Action Sports. Infinity Action Sports is a veteran-owned and operated custom sporting goods shop for quality sports uniforms, apparel, and equipment. They provide top-of-the-line products for individuals and teams, youth and adult. Head over to infinityactionsports.com and browse their inventory of jerseys, hoodies, gloves, and bats. Or use the custom tab to create the perfect individualized uniform for your team or event. Make sure to enter promo code MVP at checkout for 10% off, specially marked sale items excluded. Infinity Action Sports is MVP's only trusted source for sports apparel. Click on the link in the description to shop.